Hi, this is Danny from DannyWallacePT.com. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the quite delicate subject of having weak pelvic floor muscles. We're going to be discussing some of the problems that can occur when the pelvic floor muscles aren't working properly within the body. And I'm also going to be showing you at the end of the video a very easy exercise that you can do to help strengthen your pelvic floor muscles to make any associated problems that you have go away and become a thing of the past. Okay, now before we kick off, I'd like to just explain briefly about what the pelvic floor muscle is, what it does and what can go wrong. So the pelvic floor muscle is essentially right down at the base of the pelvis, and it's a group of three muscles that run from the front of the pelvis to the back, and those muscles provide both structure and control within the body. Now in terms of structure, they stabilize our organs of the body, particularly the bladder, the bowel and the uterus in females. In terms of control, the pelvic floor muscles are commonly known as your toilet muscles. If you imagine when you go to the toilet and you stop mid-flow from going for a wee, the pelvic floor muscle is in control of that function. If you imagine the need to pass wind and you hold it in instead, your pelvic floor muscle is also in control of that function too. So the pelvic floor largely has a big influence on our front and back passages in terms of going to the toilet. Now when the pelvic floor muscle becomes weak, we lose the ability to control both our bowels and our bladder, and this can result in problems such as leakage after going to the toilet or not being able to get to the toilet in time without an accident. Now the pelvic floor muscles can become weaker as we get older, and they can also become weaker after pregnancy and childbirth, and that can be a real problem for mums of all ages, particularly mums that have had children as they get older. So what I wanted to do in this video is show you a very simple remedy to help control some of these problems, give you your confidence back and help what can be quite a complicated and very embarrassing problem for some people. So to actually strengthen the pelvic floor, all we need to do is sit you in a chair in a nice tall position, and ideally a fairly firm chair. And I coach this way because based on where the pelvic floor is in the base of the pelvis, sitting on a stable chair gives you a good sensation sometimes if the muscle's working or not. Now what we want to try and do to engage this muscle is we want to try and relax the body completely, and then what I want you to do is imagine that you are going to the toilet but you're going to stop mid-flow. So right down in the base of the pelvis we want to try and engage a squeezing sensation, and then imagine there's a sort of lift or an elevator inside your body, and it's going to go from the ground floor level 0 up to potentially level 10. And I want you to imagine that in addition to squeezing, we are kind of lifting internally. Now I should just point out that the core muscles and the glutes and the pelvic floor all kind of work together, so we want to try and avoid bracing the tummy, squeezing the glutes, which are your backside muscles, and also holding your breath. So breathe comfortably, draw in, and that squeezing sensation as if you're going to try and stop going to the toilet, and then I want you to try and draw upwards and inwards, and we're going to hold that sensation for a count of 3, 2, 1, and then allow the body to completely relax and let the lift come back down. Now if at this stage you can't feel anything, that's completely normal. If you're someone that's had children or you've got problems with your pelvic floor, you know it's weak, or if you suspect it may be weak, you may not feel a sensation here at all, and that's quite normal. We need to create in this case what's called a mind-muscle connection, and we need to basically encourage the muscles to start working with practice, and that will come with time, so do persevere. Ideally we want to try and squeeze and lift upwards as high between that scale of 1 and 10 as we can, hold for that 3-second count and then slowly drop. Now with a little bit of practice we want to build up to doing that squeezing and lifting sensation up to 10 times, and as you get stronger and fitter we want to try and lengthen that time ever so slightly to try and increase the muscle's ability to contract under duration. Now that essentially is how you work your pelvic floor. It's a deep internal contraction and lifting sensation. My final point before we finish the video is that this is a great way to practice strengthening the muscle. However, I should also point out that the muscle is designed to be active all of the time. It supports our internal structures, our organs of the body, and it also helps us with stress incontinence. So we want that muscle strong in everyday life. So once you've practiced this movement and you've got to the point where you can physically engage, control and lift, try and start putting this action into everyday life. So if you're a mum pushing a pram, engage the muscle as you're walking around. If you're at work using your computer, watching TV, or if you're at the gym and you're engaging your core, try and think about engaging those pelvic floor muscles while you're physically active, because it has a much more influential effect moving forward in a functional standpoint if you can use those muscles in everyday life. I hope this video has been useful to you. I hope it's given you a little bit of insight, and I hope it's cleared up what may be an embarrassing problem for you. If you've got any questions or any comments you'd like to ask, please do leave a comment in the comment section below. I know it can be an embarrassing problem, but I am here to help you with your problems and questions if you have any. If you've enjoyed the video and you've got value from it, please do like the video. I'd much appreciate your support. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell if you'd like to see additional content that I post on my channel. Until then, thank you so much for watching. I do hope this video has been useful to you. I will look forward to seeing you in the next video next time. Until then, take care.